In the 2020s, a pandemic crippled the world. Some panicked, some denied it. These two guys stayed home, drank, and watched movies. These are the Jaymeson tapes. Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Poughkeepsie tapes? Just kidding, we're talking about See No Evil.
That's right. See No Evil. Wow, that is certainly a movie that we just watched.
So, I want to point one thing out right now. In the very first episode of this podcast, within the first minute of viewing, I said, "Did you just trick me into watching a wrestling movie?" To which you responded, "No." And that was correct. That was an honest answer. In this movie, I didn't say this, but it turns out you tricked me into watching an actually good movie that's disguised as a wrestling movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what happened.
I think I did a pretty good job holding my tongue on.
You did.
But all I said to you was, hey, do you want to watch a horror movie that stars a professional wrestler?
And you, to your credit, you have held your tongue on many a detail. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, I was kind of hiding the secret that I think this film that we just watched is the ideal of slasher film logic.
It will not be communicated fully through our analysis here, but I want to try to express to our audience kind of my mindset right now. Before we recorded this, we did the mechanical poisonous spider. For anyone who doesn't know and hasn't seen the video, that is Prosecco and cranberry juice, so a mimosa, with a shot of absinthe dropped into it and then chugged. And then Alan and I, amongst other substances, have just been sipping on the rest of said Prosecco.
I drank a full bottle of champagne and a beer before we've even recorded. Now that we're recording, let's get this out of the way. I've got a shot glass full of Irish cream and Jaymeson, and that's going into some Guinness. Let's sink it and drink it.
Woo!
Okay, now we can officially start.
So, we are not just inebriated, we are a special type of inebriated that comes with drinking absinthe.
Right now, I have not had breakfast today. I am shit housed.
I have to go to a meadery at 3:00 and drink more alcohol after this. And I have had breakfast, but it has done nothing for the amount of alcohol I've had. So that's part one of our state of mind right now. Part two, we have just been fed really aughts new metal nostalgia and have loved every second of it.
Before the ending credits of this film started and we heard, we would not have been surprised.
No, we would have embraced it. But yeah, all I wanted to say was this is going to be one of the less coherent episodes of this podcast.
Likely.
Oh boy.
Also, this movie was good, but it's very, very hard mentally to keep track.
This movie, I want to take this and I want to redo it.
Yes,
like
100%.
The bones are there. The execution is lacking for various reasons.
Hey WWE, if you give us Kane, like a bunch of money and like a bunch of alcohol, we will make the perfect movie for you.
Okay, Bye Bye Man was like, what, a $10 million budget? It was a piece of shit. If you give us Kane and $10 million, we can make you a fucking Blumhouse hit, like a sleeper hit. No joke. We could do it.
Hey, Korn?
Okay, Korn has done soundtrack work.
If you give us Kane and Korn.
Seriously. Like Korn, like Jonathan Davis is down. Jonathan Davis was fucking headlining some festival with System of a Down, and he's fucking like 85 years old, and he doesn't give a shit.
If you want a fucking perfect movie, Bisme and Allen and Kane and Korn.
We'll call it the AK production. We'll make you a fucking banger.
We will make you some shit, let me tell you.
We could do this.
Hey, welcome to the Jaymeson. It is show where Alan, my partner in crime and business, watch her films and get fucking shit faced. Honestly,
This is the worst. This is the worst one.
so drunk.
This is like like I have to chalk most of this up to Absinthe. Like, okay, Absinthe is weird because like it has that reputation of, oh, you see a green fairy, blah blah blah. No, it's all bullshit. That was all anti-propaganda by the wine industry because Absinthe was so fucking popular in the early 1900s.
But on
But
the other,
but Absinthe is made from wormwood, which has uppers and downers in it. So if you get drunk off of absinthe, which is what we are right now, you have a very weird lucid drunk. And I cannot describe the perfect arrangement, like the fucking alignment of the stars that we watched this movie while doing the mechanical poisonous spider. Like it was just fucking perfect.
and then like after doing the mechanical poisonous spider, I proceeded to drink the rest of the bottle of.
Yeah, same. I was just nursing that for the rest of the time, and oh my god.
After that, like in the last 10 minutes of the movie, I had a beer. But by the way, Boulevard Wheat, it's a Kansas City made wheat beer. Drink local.
Okay. So does pig whistle mean anything to you?
Whistle? Yes.
Yes, I saw that in my local Bevmo when I was picking up the absinthe. I had to pick that up next.
Whistle pig.
Whistle pig. Thank you.
That's why I was confused. Whistle pig rye.
I just got for my birthday Scotch, so which is amazing. It's double matured, first in American oak barrels and then Japanese oak barrels. It is smooth as fuck, which I'm not drinking right now.
I actually have a decanter full of like 15-year-old scotch that I need to get
Ooh,
into.
very good.
But okay, that's enough alcohol talk. We watched us a movie.
See no evil.
See No Evil. Let me bring up. It's a 2006 film, the year I graduated from high school.
The year, yeah, I graduated in '07, so I was a junior at this time.
Wow. So See No Evil was released in 2006, and boy, does it fucking feel like it, and was a WWE Films production.
I want to emphasize that because it means something.
And it stars professional wrestler. Holy shit, See No Evil 2 was released in 2014.
What?
Like 8 years later?
They sat on it that long?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
You have to watch that movie.
Yeah, no, like if we had known that, this would have been a double feature. We'll just have to revisit it later, but there will be future double features in the future.
Man, yeah, no, we are going to revisit this for sure.
Oh my god.
Because god damn did I actually enjoy this film.
Okay, so I have to be honest. So all that Alan said to me was, "Hey, do you want to bump up See No Evil to the next viewing because it's featuring Kane? It's a fucking WWE wrestling movie." And I was like, you know what? We just saw Lamb. Yeah, no, I'm down for this. And no kidding, the night before we did this, I was like having dreams because I worked like a fucking 12-hour shift, and I was just having weird fever dreams of what this movie might be, and it was just like a weird clusterfuck. This movie lived up to that clusterfuck and exceeded it, of just like, because I had what I thought in my mind this movie would be, and it exceeded all expectations.
For those of you who don't know who Kane is, he is a professional wrestler who made his debut at Bad Blood in Your House on October 5th, 1997 as the brother of the Undertaker, and he is referred to as the devil's favorite demon constantly. He's all dark and he can like summon hellfire and all of that crazy shit. So like the logic, he's also like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And built like a brick shit house. So the logic in casting him in a horror film sound. And as a wrestling fan at the time, I heard, Kane's gonna be in a horror film, and I was like, oh, yeah. But for the first several years of Kane's career before he was unmasked, he was a masked wrestler when he debuted. Fun fact about Kane before his debut, he had 2 previous gimmicks in the WWE before that. One was Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS, who was an evil dentist. And the other one was that this is a lot to explain.
There's so
So
much.
there was a professional wrestler in WWE who went by the name of Diesel, who was portrayed by Kevin Nash, who later on just went by Kevin Nash in other companies. Kevin Nash left the WWF at the time. WWF still owned the rights to the gimmick of
Yeah.
Diesel. So they made a second Diesel, which was Glenn Jacobs, Kane, before Kane. So everyone knew it wasn't him because it wasn't a masked wrestler or anything. Kane was also, before being Kane was Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS, again, an evil dentist and a fake Diesel. Then he became Kane. Politically, my ideals do not align with Kane's the actual person Glenn Jacobs very often.
Okay.
But for a very, very long time, I considered Kane to be my favorite wrestler in the WWE.
Which is funny because when we were watching this, I was like, Alan, sometimes I just think about Luchasaurus, just offhandedly. And you revealed to me that Luchasaurus has a master's in history, and so do I. I was like, oh, that makes me feel nice.
Let me make sure I'm correct on that.
Regardless of what it is, I still like Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus rules.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has a PhD or a master's, something to that degree. Anyway, I was talking about Kane.
Yeah.
So when it comes, he's portrayed a character with like a dark history. Like he's the brother of the Undertaker. He was burned in a fire, which was why he wore the mask initially. And like, it's the same fire that killed his parents. That's the lore of Kane.
Okay.
And he's just a big fucking monster who chokeslammed people and tombstone pile drived people. So again, when it came to like a WWE Films picture and a horror film starring Kane, anyone who was a wrestling fan was like, yeah, that makes sense. But this was a period where after Kane had unmasked and revealed like his face hadn't actually been burned, but like it was a psychosomatic thing. And like we accepted that explanation, sure, because he's still a big scary dude. So that leads us into this film. So to start this film, we get two cops
responding to something,
showing up to a house that might also be a church.
Sure.
And the cops showing up. They hear someone scream outside. They go into the house. One cop walks into the house, but apparently the other cop kicks in the door after he's already in the house.
That was so immediately we have this like cop walks into the house, early aughts fucking jump cut. Oh my god, spooky hallway like transition, and we're like, nothing's happened. Why are you showing this? And then they just keep going, and then they eventually make their way to the room where actual like plot is.
Okay, so they're walking through like the initial hallway and there's like blood on the wall, but also like a picture of the Virgin Mary and candles and all that kind of shit going on.
I want our audience to imagine Ghost Adventures, like cuts, like interstitial cuts. Like, that's the level of shit we're getting. And that's just like all throughout this movie.
The director of this film was a guy named Gregory Dark. Yep, that's the thing. Sorry for my tiny past. Who previously directed films. I just went to his IMDb page and I'm sorry. I have to mention this. I just opened his IMDb page and it's him standing next to Kane. Kane is in his wrestling gear.
Oh, it's fucking perfect.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm looking at his directing credits, and a lot of it is music videos. Wow. Not even looking at the pornography. Spoiler alert, by the way. For the most part, the features this guy had directed previously have been pornography.
This was his like, like legit directorial debut.
He had also directed videos for Abysme Get Ready to Laugh.
Oh, okay. Lay it on me.
Breaking Benjamin. Are you ready to laugh again? Do you remember Edema,
Oh my god.
the band that was Korn's brother? Okay. Okay. While we were recording like our viewing of this episode, we spoke very positively of the band Korn. If you want to see a music video that is why everyone hates new metal, Dima. Give they did a song called Giving In. If you go search for that music video right now and watch it, it's the brother of the guy from Korn kind of trying to sound like John Davis.
And not doing well.
Oh my god, he directed exhibit videos.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Vitamin C, LFO, Mandy Moore. Holy shit.
Dude, I mean, we thought the ending song to this was just Exhibit with Cypress Hill, and we were wrong. But it was a very good facsimile.
Before he got into directing music videos and this film, he directed films like The Devil and Miss Jones 3 and 4. Backdoor Bonanza 12.
Jesus Christ.
Between the Cheeks 2.
This is the most early aughts fucking thing I've seen in a long time.
Hootermania.
Like,
That's what this guy directed before he started doing horror movies.
we can't express enough that this really is just, this is an early aughts nostalgia fest. Like, holy shit.
Hold on. 1984.
Oh no.
In 1984, he directed a movie called Let Me Tell You About White Chick.
I feel bad because, as we'll explain later in this movie actually has this, like, gem of depth to it that has no business being in this production.
Right. Okay. Now that I'm finished getting into the previous accolades of director Gregory Dark, I want to stress again, this movie was made in 2006.
6, yeah.
Yeah, the year I graduated high school.
Oh.
That movie I just mentioned was directed in 1984.
Oh, boy.
Well, Gregory at least has some experience.
I mean, he's been around the block for a while.
So, wow. Two cops go to a house. They enter and they hear a scream. They see a lot of religious shit around, and they enter further into the house and they find a woman who's been apparently held captive there.
Whose eyes have been gouged out.
Yes, they see her face and they're like, "What the fuck?" But then one of the police officers then gets attacked by a dude with an axe, apparently.
Yeah.
Like a fireman's axe.
Yeah.
And from there, the other officer looks like he's about to get chopped up with an axe, and in fact gets his arm chopped off by his attacker, but is able to pull out his gun and shoot the person attacking.
In a very badass scene of getting your fucking arm lopped off and then just being like, "Fuck you," and then shooting your assailant. It's pretty cool.
Officer Badass.
Yeah.
Gets his arm chopped off, but still manages to pop a few shots off at this dude.
Immediately earns our respect.
Yeah, and then that's the end of that scene. Cut to prison. We've jumped ahead and we are at a prison and we are meeting our main characters who get introduced in still frames, and in the still frames it says their name and the crimes they committed. And they're on like some sort of weird, like,
they're on the most, like,
I'm not gonna say parole because they're like still in prison.
it's the most minimal of fucking charges. It's like breaking and entering, drug possession, aggravated assault. Like, it's the most, like, non-starters of criminal sentences.
Yeah, but I wanted to stress that all of our characters are introduced in this way, and it's the only time we see their fucking names. And I don't like. Again, props to our editor. for taking notes during this film and writing down our characters' names as they are introduced. That's the only fucking time they're ever introduced.
And
Um,
I failed to remember
yeah,
any of their names.
because yeah, we get these individual introductions to the character, and every time it like freeze frames on them and shows them, it also says what crimes they're accused of, and it's clear this is some like fucking thing like, hey, if you do some community service bullshit while you're actually in the prison,
Or reduce your sentence, blah, blah, blah.
it'll reduce your sentence. Yeah. Suicide Squad, essentially.
Sure, yeah, but, like, they're marching out in their civvies, like, they're not even
Yeah.
like, they've never been in a Department of Corrections facility, so
Yeah, these people gets marched out of what appears to be an actual prison and are wearing they're like civilian clothes. So whatever. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is that apparently they're going to clean up a hotel that has been condemned for like 70 years.
it's just a long time.
A long, 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 long time. The Blackwell Hotel.
We're skipping over a lot, by the way. We're skipping over, "I found these condoms."
Oh, yes.
One of them was
It
indicted for computer fraud.
is male and female prisoners together.
Did we
And
mention that the director used to do porn?
yep. And one of the female prisoners at the beginning, their attendant or guard or whatever says, I found these condoms that one of you tried to bring.
Not even that, just, "I found these condoms," and then it cuts to the rest of the bus, and they're like, "It wasn't mine." That's it.
Mhm.
And then it fucking
And
cuts to the other people coming onto the bus. Like, that's all we get.
that, that's it. Oh, and then two of the dudes on the bus discuss trying to. One of the dudes on the bus says, "Hey, there's something about this hotel I got to tell you about." And he's like, "Yeah, all right, I'm on board if you got something." And kind of seems like they're into each other.
It's a weird scene because how he knows this information, we don't know. Maybe we do, we were talking over it, but they get real close, like, "Imma make out with you close." And immediately we were
Yeah,
like, "Okay,
yeah.
these 2 got some obvious
Pretty,
coding. Because
pretty,
again,
pretty,
this director shot porn.
pretty clearly something was going on there.
Uh,
So they arrive from there. We go to the Blackwell Hotel. And they're doing some degree of community service.
they're told by
And they're
the caretaker or whatever, like, "Hey, you're here. Don't go to this floor. Go to this floor. Don't go to the penthouse. Clean this stuff. Blah blah blah." It's very like surface level. Here's your rules.
and the caretaker is just some old lady
Yeah.
who's like, "Hey, don't fuck with shit too much, but also do what you're told to do."
And the
And
cop
it's
that's
pretty
like kind of supervising them is the badass cop from
cool.
the first scene, by the way.
And again, this hotel is not like just a little dirty. It is in this is our fourth episode. We've encountered three previous horror films. It is the filthiest place we've ever
Disgusting. This, if I could say one thing about this film, it does a good job of making its set piece be like, this is gross. There is filth and grime and mold and
Yeah.
cockroaches everywhere.
Their community service is to clean up a hotel that was probably condemned like 40 years ago.
Like 10 stories worth of rot. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Just gross. One of the prisoners then goes to the bathroom and flips up the toilet, and it is the filthiest toilet.
Uh-huh.
So then he takes a mop, sticks that mop in the toilet like that's how you're supposed to clean toilets.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a few scenes of them just kind of cleaning up this place that they would never in a million years make presentable.
No, like, this would be like, I think we mentioned it during the recording. Like, no, you're calling in the professionals to like fumigate this place because
Yeah,
it is not fit for human habitation at
you
any
need to either
degree.
condemn or destroy this building.
Yeah, like it's bad.
So yeah, again, he opens the toilet and it's like, ugh. So then they've been given cleaning supplies, obviously, to clean up this place. So he takes a mop from a mock bucket hot bucket and just sticks it in the toilet.
Because
And
that's the water you want to use to mop the floor.
but the important thing to note is he finds like a loose pipe in this scene.
This is fucking Chekhov's pipe. He holds on to this
Yes.
pipe the entire fucking movie.
This guy is the biggest piece of shit in the film. That we can say. Everyone else's criminal charges seem to be like minor shit. Like one of the girls that's established was just like trying to free animals from like a PETA facility or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy it's established is just like an enormous piece of shit. But he just grabs like a lead pipe. Has decided, well, I'm gonna hang on to this pipe.
And he really, like, through every scene that he's in, romantic, not romantic, establishing, non-establishing, dude just has his pipe. Just never lets go of that fucker. It's just always there. And we noticed this, and we're just like, that dude just really loves that fucking pipe.
So we get a few scenes of them just, being the house, hanging out. Dude has a pipe for some reason. Everything's framed like a porno.
Yeah. Oh, well, we
I
have...
don't mind.
No, and we have this scene of our two, like, the two people we were shipping. Let's see, fuck. Sage listed out the names. I cannot associate the names with faces, unfortunately. But the two that we want to, like, that we really care about that should have been making out on the bus. Richie and Tyson. Thank you. Thank you, Sage.
Thank you, Sade.
Richie and Tyson are like, we gotta find this secret vault, dude. We gotta
I
find...
need to stress to everyone listening that we're just two drunk fucking morons.
We're really drunk for this one. We just did a mechanical poisonous spider before this.
And Sade has taken notes on the film and notes on the characters' names, and even in previous episodes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sade. But yeah, so Richie and Tyson go off and are like, we found the mystical area that we gotta find, and they're just like wandering through these hallways, and they happen upon a dead body.
Before that happened, they're sleeping in bed
Oh, yeah.
to each other, and they just draw off the covers, and they're like, "Let's do it." And Peter Bisbee were both like, "Yeah."
There's like 4 people in the room because everyone's like segmented to rooms, and like this random breeding couple is like, we're gonna go off and do something, and then Richie and Tyson are just sitting there going like, okay, go, yeah, that's fine. And then they leave them alone in the room. And again, this movie is full of porno setups. We're like, okay, well, these two clearly are just gonna get it on at this point, right? No, we're gonna go search for buried treasure. Which, okay, fine.
All right.
All right, fine. So they go off, and they're wandering through abandoned ass hallways, and like, they find a body, which is clearly just like a dude in corpse paint, just like sitting there. And they're like, oh my god, it's a dead body. Hey, check to see if he's dead.
It is the deadest body. They could have found a skeleton and it wouldn't have been more clearly the deadest body.
And Tyson just sits down and like takes his pulse and goes, yeah, he's dead.
But then like the dead body's head falls back, and he doesn't have eyes.
Yeah.
It's clear the dead body's eyes have been gouged out. Wow.
Oh my god.
This fucking movie.
It's fucking...
The one thing we passed over looking at notes is all of the community service prisoners or whatever are just hanging out. And the one who's the biggest piece of shit asks if anyone wants some homegrown aspirin.
Which we learned later is code for weed, but...
Code for weed. And that was not clear at all.
That is such a terrible moniker for marijuana. Like, there's a billion out there, and you call it homegrown aspirin. I think that was the first moment I really broke watching this, because I just...
Yes.
I could not, like, I couldn't take the phrase homegrown aspirin, because I thought he actually meant opioids.
This is also when we met Wall Dog.
God damn it.
There's like a hole in the wall, and all of a sudden a dog comes out of this hole.
Yeah.
One of the girls who was the one who got arrested because they were releasing like test animals or something.
Yeah, she like raided a facility and released animals.
PETA girl raided a facility and released animals, and the dog comes up to her and she's like, "Oh, a dog," and pets the dog, and then the dog goes back into the wall. It was just so jarring to see this fucking dog like come out of a fucking wall.
There's so many moments of this. We were like, I was we were trying to like have a conversation about something tangential to it, and then the movie just like stops and goes, "No, shut the fuck up and pay attention, because I'm about to destroy your expectations."
So, cut back ahead. Sorry, the two dudes we wanted to fuck. They go out looking for the safe. They find the dead body. It has no eyes. All of a sudden, we get the appearance of fucking Kane. And this is when Kane finally shows up, and his primary weapon of choice seems to be a big fucking meat hook on the end of a chain.
Yeah.
So Richie, who was computer fraud dude, gets a fucking chain into his collarbone, then he gets dragged into the elevator, and that's the end of Richie.
Yeah. We assumed he was dead. He's not later. Spoilers, but we assumed.
And Kane, you know, a lot of any of us who was wrestling fans assumed he would be. He's a pretty fucking effective slasher villain.
Yeah. Imposing,
He's-
tall, menacing.
Yeah, everything you need in if you're looking for prototype slasher villain, he checks off all the boxes. So it's at this point that we kind of notice the thing with the flies, right?
Yes.
That kind of the indicator that our killer was around was the presence of flies buzzed around.
Yeah, it's very much a biblical, and there's been a lot of biblical imagery here of Beelzebub, flies being associated with the presence of evil.
By the way, it's never mentioned in the actual film, but in the credits we find out his name is Jacob Goodnight.
Like, good night. Ha ha ha.
Whenever he's around, there seems to be flies buzzing around. So one of them gets dragged into the elevator, then cuts to the female inmates. Here's the elevator. Is one of them. one of them goes to investigate and gets killed.
Yeah.
Hannah gets killed.
Hannah. Sade is feeding us these names. We really do not remember.
We are being babysat right now.
She found the condoms.
Anna, who found the condoms.
It is so hard to recount this movie because a lot of it is seriously like it's
a lot of it is just cookie cutter slasher film stuff.
People wander from room to room getting killed. I don't want to spoil the entire movie, but we'll just kind of highlight the notable bits, I guess, because it really just is all these young inmates, convicts, whatever, are here, and they're gonna get stalked by Kane. That's really it.
Okay. No, this next part is important because Hannah gets killed. Then there's Kira. Kira took a shower earlier and has a bunch of religious tattoos.
Yes.
While she was taking a shower and was showing off all those religious tattoos, we got scenes that showed that someone was peeping on her, and it was our killer. So from there, after Hannah gets killed, Kira gets taken by Kane. From there, after realize something's fucking going on, the cop. By the way, we forgot to mention that the cop who is babysitting this group of criminals is the same one who got his arm chopped off previously in the flashback by Kane.
Yeah.
One of the female inmates and Kira go looking for a girl. They run into the dude who we had shipped with the previous dude. And then we get our first real view of the killer in his entirety. And the cop realizes who it is. As badass as this cop has been throughout the film, and we had earmarked as a clear, protagonist, he then just gets fucking killed.
It's rather unfortunate because his badassness just kind of just doesn't apply after that first opening scene. And he's just kind of like, nah, you're just fodder at this point, which is, like I said, unfortunate.
As soon as he realizes what's going on, kind of comes out of a room and gets a hook through the throat and then gets pulled up through the ceiling, which is unfortunate. From there, we cut to a douchebag. So more of the prisoners are just kind of hanging out, not quite realizing what's going on yet because that's kind of been consolidated to the cop and the couple we've been shipping and whatever. They're just kind of hanging out. And the douchebag with the pipe brings out his homegrown aspirin, and they all smoke a little weed. And that's Pipe Guy, Peta Girl, and Zoe. And we haven't talked really about Zoe, who was the one who was accused of shoplifting, who also keeps like texting on her cell phone, the Nokia cell phone that will survive a nuclear
Oh,
holocaust.
oh my god. That yeah, another moment that broke me was just her talking on that cell phone, which was just again, this was made in '06. It's for a certain audience, and a good portion of our listeners may or may not be a part of that audience.
They smoke a little ganj. If I can try it, sound a little more like a cop. They puff a little wacky tobacco. Some of the jokey smoky. And Peta Girl and a dude we haven't even mentioned yet. What the fuck? There's another dude who, when the girl mentions she broke out all the animals earlier when they were all on the bus, was like, "Hey, that sounds pretty cool."
He's just very like nondescript, like fuck boy.
Yeah. Melissa and Fuckboy go off to Fuckboy Russell, as I've just been informed. Melissa and Fuckboy Russell go off to have sex in the dirtiest room because, as seems to be a rule of this show, no one can just have sex in a clean room.
No, no, it has to be in this disgusting, decrepit ass hotel.
Oh, before that happens, Kira, who had the religious symbols tattooed on her, wakes up and is locked in a cage just to witness Richie, the computer fraud guy, getting his eyes pulled out of his skull by Jacob Kane.
Which is the enter Richie, unfortunately. So our two that we were shipping, they cannot be a thing anymore.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So Russell and Melissa go to have sex in the filthy place, and in the filthy room, Russell is like, "Wait, this mirror." And then walks up to the mirror and was like, "It's a two-way mirror." And he does not realize this. Soon enough, we get the reveal that Kane is behind the mirror, and then he emerges from behind the broken mirror. He breaks out of the mirror, chases after Melissa and Russell. Russell tries to help Melissa by getting her out the window. Good guy Russell finds a fire hose and ties that around her waist and starts helping her rappel down the window. She's super nervous about it. It looks like she's fine. She's not too far down. Whatever. But then she starts getting pulled back up. And it's when she gets pulled back up, she finds that Jacob has been pulling her back up
no.
and has already killed Fuckboy.
Kane just kind of like toys with her and
Oh,
drops her to
yeah.
her death.
Then eventually drops her, and she breaks her arm when he drops her.
Actually, yeah, no, not to her death. She just kind of gets hurt.
She just kind of gets hurt, and it like breaks her arm, and like the bone is sticking out and everything. Then he tears out Fuckboy's eyes, as seems to be his modus operandi. But Melissa is just left hanging upside down with a completely shattered arm that is leaking. Then Wall Dog comes out along with
dogs.
along with several other wall dogs, and she apparently just gets consumed by dogs.
Our PETA activist just gets eaten by dogs because of the most thinly veiled irony in a movie ever. Because dogs, when dogs see a human hanging and bleeding out, they're just like, yeah, I gotta eat this person.
Yep, that's a thing. People are food. Then Pipe Boy and a cell phone girl, now fully on board with the plot of our horror film, are trying to hide from Jacob Goodnight, and a cell phone girl hides in a closet. Jacob Goodnight goes into the room and can't find her, but then he hears her cell phone ring.
Oh,
You hear that? You hear that, millennials?
turn off your cell phones or Kane will kill you.
Or Kane will kill you. He hears her phone ring, comes back into the room, grabs the phone and just from her hand and just forces it down her throat and puts his hand over her throat and forces her to choke to death on it.
Yep.
And that's that scene. So finally, the guy who the love of his life has already been killed, and other girl who hasn't really done much.
Yeah, not much.
Here's my complaint about this as a slasher film. Your final girl has to be an interesting character. The one you're kind of like, yeah, you're in this with them. Christine is her name, and we don't really get much about her to care about.
All Christine has is that she has religious tattoos on her, and that makes her immune. Wait, is that not Christine?
And I'm getting lost. Christine is the other girl. Kira is the girl with the religious tattoo.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, Christine might be dead. Looking over notes.
Right, because Kane chokes her out.
Is
No, Christine is the final girl, is what they just say.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, it makes sense. Christine, Christian, Christ, all that shit.
Yay, Jesus.
Yeah.
We've kind of left out the whole like background scenes with Kane.
Well, it all comes to a head when the caretaker of the hotel like shows up and Christine's in the cage and says, like, wait, help me. Oh wait, you're with Kane? I mean, insert villain name. And it turns out that she is his mother and has been like abusing and manipulating him into doing all of this the entire time, which, yes, is a little bit tropey. But here's the thing, the justification for why Jacob Goodnight kills people is very, very, very well explained and established. His mother was like insane zealot and says, like, bad people need to die and you can see the evil in their eyes. Ha ha ha. Wait, hold on. Kira equals Tats Girl in Cage, Christine equals Boring Final Girl. I'm fucking confused now. Who's the final girl in this movie? We were very drunk when we watched this.
Christine's the final girl. Kira was the girl in the cage who had the religious tattoos, but I don't think she survives the film.
We had two final girls. They both lived. Holy shit. Okay. Well, okay. So that doesn't change much. Point is, there's this like weird apex of the movie, this strange climax where Kane just has all of these like vivid flashbacks of being abused and manipulated into killing people. The entire time we're watching it just going, wow, this is a better explanation than all of the Friday the 13th movies.
Like, it really is.
This just makes sense. And it was at that point that Alan said, I'm keeping a secret from you. This movie is actually good.
Yeah.
And I was like, fair enough.
I had been holding on to a secret throughout this entire film, which was initially presented as like, okay, last movie we watched was good. Let's get some shit on the next episode. Balance it out. Spoiler, this movie is actually fucking great.
It's got a lot of cheese leading up to it, and this is really towards the last like 20 minutes of the film. But strangely enough, you're sitting there and you're watching and just going, oh, okay, yeah, like he's just really just been manipulated into doing this because that's all he knows. He's been super, super abused. Yeah. This is all he's been taught. And he does end up killing his mother because he kind of like has an epiphany, for lack of a better term, of, oh no, my mom is a fucking giant hypocrite. Unfortunately, like, I guess he still has to quote unquote die. And our protags managed to throw him out the window with a shove and a chair, which is very wrestling. He falls to his quote unquote death.
Yeah. He gets the aforementioned pipe through the eye, shoved out the window, and it very clearly shows like a fucking Mortal Kombat X-ray scene of like glass going through his heart. So he has to be dead, right?
Right.
He has to be dead. There's no way he's alive. There's no way he's alive for a sequel. And then they get the keys off the mom's body, our two final girls and final dude, and they just fucking bounce. And that's the end of the film.
That's it.
But wait, credits start rolling, and you think, hey, maybe it's setting up a sequel where our antagonist is still alive. But nope. Wall Dog shows back up and pees in Kane's eye hole.
Just pees in his eye hole.
And then that's the actual end of the film.
I still don't know what to make of that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Up until that point, we were both like, yeah, that's right. This movie's actually a banger. And I have not actually seen that post-credit scene before.
It's just fucking like, let's be edgy for no reason.
It was just kind of like, oh.
Fine.
So that was See No Evil.
It's an early aughts nostalgia fest. It is what it is. It's got actual artistic credit to it at the very fucking end. that you just do not see coming.
Yeah. There's a scene specifically where it's showing, like, the torture that young Jacob Goodnight went under from his mother and, like, this girl tied to a bed and writhing, and it's like, yeah, yeah.
I don't know, for me, this is a yes, like, you know, understand that it's gonna be a lot of BS, but it's worth the watch.
The thing I was excited to get into. Kane is a professional wrestler and was an active wrestler with WWE at the time this film was released. So they needed to do some cross promotion.
Mhm.
So they were doing a backstage interview with actors from the film on WWE programming. And the actors from the film, they were like, yeah, we're so excited to be in this movie that was coming out. But also, Kane, man, he was really intimidating to work with and got actually like violent while we were filming the movie. Like he was way too into his character. And then Kane showed up and like screamed at them and they ran off. But then someone mentioned that the movie was coming out on May 19th and Kane started freaking the fuck out about the date May 19th.
No, not May
So
19th.
as the weeks of Monday Night Raw progressed, people would be mentioned May 19th around Kane and he would just beat the shit out of them. And I could get into the storyline more, but it's considered one of the worst wrestling storylines of all time.
I disagree, that sounds fantastic.
So finally, we get the revelation that not only was May 19th the day the film was releasing, it's the day the fire that killed his family was set.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wrestling,
They're
do more movie tie-ins. Fucking do this.
So their film tie-in was Kane was like driven crazy by the date May 19th and that people kept mentioning it and it was the date of the release of his film.
I mean, like, I can't if the phrase was 7 days and Sadako was a wrestler, like, I'd buy that, so I can't really knock this. I really can't.
Oh man, there was just a point where it got to in the storyline where like Kane was about to attack someone and the special guest referee was Shawn Michaels and Shawn Michaels pulled up the person's shirt and just the words May 19th were written on it over and over again. And I was like, wow.
This film is just it's an early aught slasher. That's the most, like, surface level shit I can say about it, but it's just a little snapshot in time. It's worth a viewing.
Oh yeah. And my thoughts about this film before it got into the whole like background of again Jacob Goodnight, that's his actual name. There's apparently deleted scenes that reveal his name, but you only know that if you watch the actual credits. But there's until we got to those like flashback scenes, what I'll say about the entirety of this film is it's about as cookie cutter as a slasher film can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is the prototype
Quintessential.
of slasher film.
Yeah.
No, it kind of gets redeemed by the background of the Jacob Goodnight character.
It's rather arresting because you'd really
Yeah.
like, you're laughing your ass off the entire time, and then that drops.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
like literally like we were watching the movie and we were joking around the whole time. And then it gets to that scene where it's showing like his like origins. And we were just dead quiet, just fucking watching.
Yeah, for an extended period of time. It was like
Yeah,
it was eerie because it actually it had substance, it meant something.
that's our movie.
Do you have any spider moments? Because I don't think I
Yeah.
do. This whole fucking movie's a spider moment for me.
I was very again, I had seen this before I showed it to you, but I didn't remember very specific details. So I'll say my spider moment was the description of when Pipe Guy. Oh, by the way, Pipe Guy did we didn't mention enough about Pipe Guy. Pipe Guy found that pipe when he was cleaning the toilet earlier in the film,
Yeah.
and then just started dragging that pipe around breaking shit with it.
Yeah, just in a hallway.
And then eventually it paid off and he got to hit Jacob Goodnight with it, but
Adequate setup
okay.
and payoff. I guess if I had to name a spider moment, it would be When what's her face was like, "Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. What's up, bitch?" I just fucking died at that moment.
I'm gonna say my spider moment was like before the pipe payoff, and I realized that dude was still just carrying a pipe around that he
Yeah.
found earlier in the movie.
What can we possibly suggest for a drink for this movie?
That is a great question. What would our drink for this movie be?
I don't even know where to start because it's just
Okay,
it's a
okay.
slow build until the
I
sharpest
know,
payoff.
I know exactly where to start.
Okay.
So The Rock has a tequila.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yes, Terramana tequila. He has a brand of tequila. I've had it. It's actually very good. So that's, I think, where we're going to start.
Okay, tequila,
Tequila as a base.
like a tequila sunrise with. I know we're fucking pigeonholing ourselves, but a shot dropped into it. Because again, this movie really just is watching something, and then there's just this fucking kicker that hits you in the face.
Okay. Haynes' thing was red. Red and fire.
Oh, Fireball.
Okay. We've got something with, okay, so Terramana tequila, something with fireball.
Like, really, it just sounds like a tequila
Like
sunrise with a fireball shot dropped in it.
This movie, yeah, this movie was surprisingly good. So I'm trying to come up with something that's actually
I mean, granted, we saw this when we were fucking three sheets to the wind, so
yeah.
you kind of have to be going into it a bit sloshed.
Okay. No, I've got it. You are straight up going to make an actual margarita
Oh shit.
with Terramana tequila.
Okay.
But as in a tequila sunrise, you are going to add some grenadine to a tequila.
Okay.
So make a proper tequila, and I'm not
Margarita.
make a proper margarita. And I'm not talking with margarita mix. I'm talking
Yeah.
with lime and with lime juice and with brain triple sec. Not triple sec.
Absinthe is a hell of a drug, people.
Yep. Oh man, let me brain for a moment
So a proper margarita.
with grenadine.
Yeah.
So you get the cherry of it. Cointreau. That's the
Yes.
my brain was looking for.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Terramana tequila. Cointreau. Lime juice. Margarita mix is fine, everybody. But if you want a proper margarita, you want the Cointreau and you want the lime juice and
Yeah.
not the mix.
Yeah.
That's all you need. But we're also going to be adding some grenadine in there to get it red like Cain and also blood red for this horror film we're watching. And
And then we just drop
something representing an eyeball, maybe.
an olive, as say it's a
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah. And what are we gonna drop in this cocktail?
I think we just drop some Fireball. Like, I can't think of anything else more fitting.
Wow, this sounds like a nightmare
It
that I would
does.
actually drink.
It does, like, this
Um,
is a fucking, like, drink you get for your friends at a fucking party bar, and everyone's
Yeah.
just screaming
Yeah.
about it.
I'd still drink it.
Oh, I do it once.
I'd do it once and then like nurse a couple beers for the rest of the night.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is the See No Evil cocktail.
You can't even just call it the See No Evil. Like, that's perfectly
Yeah.
good as a name.
All right. Wow.
That this was one fuck of a recording episode. Everybody, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about the movie. If you've seen it, please, go check it out by completely legal means to watch it. And let us know here and on the Discord and on the Patreon what other films we should check out using the hashtag Jaymeson tapes.
Thank you for joining us. I'm not going to do in previous episodes a drop shot to end the episode. I am shithoused right now.
And I have to go to another drinking engagement after this.
Cool. But yeah, thank you for joining us. And if you're going to have sex, just do it in a very clean room.
Yeah, no, cleanliness is key. Don't fuck in some decrepit ass hotel, please.
Gonna get weird genital diseases if you don't.
Mhm.
That's it.
Bye. The Jaymeson Tapes is hosted and created by Alan Cheney and Abysme. If you have a movie suggestion for the podcast, please leave a comment, message us on the Creative Horror Discord, or tweet at Creative Horror with the hashtag Jaymeson Tapes. Creative Horror is a network of creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. Please Visit us at creativehorror.com.